Grassroots football. We've all played it, or coached it, or watched it. We've all felt its ups and its downs. For many kids in Scotland, grassroots football was everything. It's how they socialise, exercise, learn, communicate, create, work, express themselves, build resilience, concentrate, adapt. It's how they live. We all know our muddy public parks are a far cry from the bright lights of the Premier League. But how far can you actually go in grassroots youth football? I caught up with Adam Binnie, a man who has done it all, 2 years on from his experience in a Scottish Youth FA Cup final.
My name's Adam Binnie, I'm 16 years old, and 2 years ago I played in a Scottish Youth FA Cup final.
When and how did you start playing football?
I started playing football when I was 6 years old, and I actually started playing football with Falkirk, the team that I got to the Scottish Cup final with, because I went to one of the summer training camps with my brother. My dad took me along, and the coach there, Richard Fox, he noticed me and he phoned my dad and asked me to start playing football with them. And I actually played a year above, which was quite fortunate for me.
The team that you made it to the Scottish Cup final with, Falkirk FCF Blues 2003, how did that team form and how did you join that team?
Formed when I was a very young age. There was two teams that were 03s that were merging together to make one of the a good team, and Stuart Hogan, the coach, was trying to gather a team to start up. And as I was playing the year above, I also got asked to watch them play. So, I went down and watched them, the two teams playing against each other, which was I could already recognise who was going to be my teammates. And from there, the team formed when I was 8 years old, I think, and ever since then, it's just went the whole way through, and the group of boys has really stayed together since then, and there hasn't been much chopping and changing. It's been the same boys for a long time.
Can you tell us about some of the successes you had as a group before the Scottish Youth FA Cup final?
Well, in the 7-a-side, we won 3 tournaments quite fast after we'd formed, and we also got matched up against pro youth teams with the likes of Morton, Celtic and Forth Valley, where we managed to beat Morton, draw Celtic in a narrow defeat 1-0 to Forth Valley. In the under-14s we won the double, which consisted of the league and the League Cup, and then under-15s we won the league again, which made it back-to-back, and the Divisional Cup, which made it a double-double over the 2 seasons.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your side's journey to the final?
Well, the first round we played with Shawbickham Wanderers, where we won 10-1 in that game. Round 2 we played West Park, which is a local team. We beat them 5-1. Round 3 we played Glenrothes. Again we scored 5 goals, beat them 5-2. Round 4 we played Musselburgh, a team we didn't really know much about. We actually ended up beating them 9-2. And then in round 5 we played Spartans in a very tight game where we won 5-4 in a very narrow victory to a very big community team in Edinburgh. We reached the quarter-finals and we played Barrhead, who were the current Scottish Cup holders at this level. We ended up actually beating them 5-1 in a game that was very nervy for both teams, and we ended up coming out victorious. We then progressed on to the semi-final where we played Johnstonborough, and we won 2-1 after extra time in a very narrow game. We managed to win that one, fortunately.
Talk us through your emotions when you realised you would be playing in a Scottish Youth FA Cup final.
Well, obviously the game that we won after extra time, it was just a relief at first because, we'd got this far, we wanted to go all the way. But then after it kind of settled in, and it was an away game for us, so we had to travel very far. And on the way back, everyone was just buzzing, and it was just a really great feeling to be in a final, because we'd reached finals before, but not at this level, and it was just huge for everyone involved, the parents, the players, the coaches, just everyone's families was just ecstatic with the result.
What was the build-up like both on the day of the game and the days leading up to the final?
Well, I was very nervous the night before and in training sessions, because everyone was like, oh, the next game is the final. But even before that, when we were playing big teams in our league, the final was always on people's minds. Like, we played our biggest rivals, Stennismuir, they changed into Camelon that year. And we played them, and just before it, and even games like that, we were kind of overlooking them. We still did manage to beat them, but we were overlooking games like that. But in training, we were just trying to do the same things, because there's no point in changing a working formula. But on the day and the days leading up to it, me personally, I don't really know about my team. Well, they were nervous as well, but I was really nervous, but also excited, because I knew that a lot of people were coming to watch me, like my friends and family, and I just wanted to prove that our team was the best in Scotland.
So how would you describe the match itself? What was it like to play in?
Well, the game was very cagey. Everyone was nervous. It was such a big event. It was just a real battle, and it was just, I think, to start off with, it was just who wanted the ball more, who wanted to win the tackles, who was getting to the second balls first. Because personally, my team, I don't think they played as well as we could have. We went 1-0 down, unfortunately first, but the heads didn't drop, and our team managed to score quite a controversial goal, which you need a bit of luck in football, and I thought that was us. We were back in the game, and from there we were actually the better team, in my opinion. So I thought this was our day. We were going to go on and win the cup, but just in injury time we conceded a goal with 2 minutes to go, and since it went in, I dropped to the floor, my head in my hands. I couldn't quite believe it. It was just a really hard thing to take in, especially me and all the boys, just devastated.
What was the atmosphere like in the dressing room after that game? Talk us through your emotions after such a devastating defeat.
Everyone in the changing rooms came in and felt really hard done by, because we had our chances in the game and we just didn't take them, and we gave away a chance at the end, and their striker managed to put it in under pressure. But nobody really spoke. A lot of people were crying, myself included, and there was lots of kicking of the lockers, and it was just a really hard thing to watch and also experience. And the coaches were like, don't beat yourself up. It was just the biggest game you'll play in, and we were narrowly bet, but they were trying to give us a little bit of hope, because we still had two cups, well, a league and a cup final to go and play, so we couldn't let that hurt us. But that day and the day after, it was really, really hard for me and the boys to take in and experience.
So where do you think it went wrong on the day?
I just feel like nerves were the factor that cost us that game, because not all of our key players, they didn't perform well on the day. I do believe if that was just a normal league match, we would have bet them, and I do genuinely believe that. I just feel like on the day, myself included, we couldn't live up to the expectation of the biggest final in youth football, and it was just the nerves that cost us, and we just couldn't deal with it, I don't think.
How did you manage to bounce back after the defeat in the final?
Well, we knew that we couldn't dwell on it, because we had a lot of big games to come up. We had a midweek game after it, which we played. We won that game, so that was straight back. The loss wasn't forgot about, but it was in the past, and we couldn't change that, and we knew that. And we actually managed to keep winning, and we won the league with 30 seconds to go. I think it was mental. The scenes were crazy, all the players were running about, there was parents on the pitch, coaches were running about like mad. It was a crazy, crazy day, and it was up in Airdrie. I'll never forget that day. That was brilliant day.
2 years on, how do you look back on the experience of playing in a Scottish Youth FA Cup final as a whole?
Well, when you look at it, well, when I look at it now, sorry, it's a massive, massive achievement. You know, being in a national final of any sort is a humongous achievement, and it will be held with me for the rest of my life. But you know, you just can't help but think, what if, what if? You know, if that ball went there, if they missed that chance, if we would have won that game, and that would have been a moment that I would have treasured forever.